All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's another Tuesday, and we are on the MSP Initiative Live. Should be getting another guest here with us in a little bit, but yeah, it's another Tuesday in IT land, and it's that part of the year where things are actually getting done, and people are on vacations, and good things are happening, right? So a couple of housekeeping items as we usually do for everyone, right? So if you haven't been on a webinar before, just covering the basis that you know where all the moving parts are. So if you haven't already been to mspinitiative.com, check it out. A couple tabs that are worth mentioning here once you get to the website, which is share my screen, sessions, right? So every recorded session, this is one, or actually go back to the beginning of time here. So you can actually go backwards and rewind, fast forward, etc. We do a monthly multi-vendor giveaway, no purchase required. Basically just go to the giveaway page, put your name in, 10 prizes that you could possibly win. And you basically throw your name in the hat and you have a shot to win. Last thing I'm going to mention, and this is new, we have our MSP community block party coming up in about a month. So if you're headed down to Orlando for that conference, right? The big conference on iDrive, you know which one it is. This is around that time and in that area. So you can go here and then request your invite, and you can actually potentially get into the MSP block party, which is just announced here today. So there's that. That is the story and all of that. So here we are. We're we have rest of October, November, December, and the year closes out, right? And one of the things that has come up in recent news, which we knew was coming, was the formal launch of Windows 11. For anyone that follows Dave Sobel on MSP Radio, he's just put out a topic that he recorded saying, "Hey, Windows 11's out. I thought there'd be bigger buzz. There isn't. Why?" So I kind of chuckled a little bit. Love Dave. Loves to put kind of the hot mic out there, see what happens. But honestly, number one, I'm not sure everybody's had a chance to play with Windows 11. It's not been out for. Darren's like, who cares about Windows 11? Well, at some point, people will care about Windows 11, Darren, when Windows 10 is not supported, right? Which I know is still like another 4 years away or something like that. So I'm sure you'll care more then. But yeah, Windows 11. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to play with it. There is also that free upgrade period, Darren. So, obviously, within the first year, right? So it just launched. You have 1 year to exercise free upgrade rights, and then technically you're supposed to pay if you wanted to migrate from 10 to 11. So those would be the two things that are worth thinking about there. But yeah, I thought that was funny, right? So he put out there is like, why aren't people upgrading? And I'm like, yeah, I tend to let other people flush things out before. Darren says still not interested. Noted. I tend to let people flush things out before going down there in production, right? Putting customers down there in production because things break and it's new, and yeah, fantastic. So that's my answer, Dave Sobel, if you're listening. But yes, to Darren's point, nobody cares right now. Okay, got it. Moving on. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna unmute you, Darren. How you doing there, buddy? Maybe he's out and about ordering his daily Chick-fil-A, hopefully. So we'll see if he pops on. But yeah, moving right along. So one thing that we didn't cover in a past session was the Facebook disappearing from the internet. Oh, there he is.
I'm driving. It's probably going to be loud, so I'm headed to a appointment. So, but okay, yeah, honestly, it's interesting with the Windows 11 thing for us, and I don't know probably for others, it just seems like so irrelevant given everything else with security going on. It's like the last, and maybe there's some improved security or whatever, I don't know, but it's not something we're even going to think about looking at until sometime next year. Q1, something like that. It's just so low on our list right now. So we have it blocked. Thankfully, Data RMM has a add-on or module or whatever that it will block the installation if somebody was to try to do it. We'll have to see if that actually works, but yeah, so it's not on our radar at all.
All right, since you're Mr. Security here's something that'll make you just feel real good about the current state of affairs, right? Here we go. You see this one, Darren? A Pentagon official has resigned because U.S. cybersecurity is no match for China, calling it kindergarten level, meaning what we're doing right now.
I wouldn't be surprised. So, I mean, it's horrendous, everything out there. So I don't know.
No, yeah. So this guy says, hey, like 50, he's already quit. He's already said that we're not going to be able to catch up. The money's not being spent in the right place. And in 15 to 20 years, we're done. Like there's no catching up to China on the AI and what they're doing, on the security tip, breaking through all of the current protections. So, 15 to 20 years, he said, there's just no winning it within that time frame. He's like, the battle's pretty much already won, he said.
I listen, I'm as pro-military and pro, defend this country as it gets, but I would tend to think that the people that are in charge at the highest levels, many of them, being older, still likely don't fully understand the severity of the cyber threat and are therefore, I think a lot of the people probably in charge don't even use computers, right? I mean, maybe that's not correct, but I would kind of make an assumption that at least some, I got so much noise. At least some of these people are not really with the program of what this stuff could do to us, and are still like, well, we have the strongest military, so what do we have to worry about? But obviously we have to worry about it. So that's hopefully I'm wrong. But yeah.
Sorry, I was completely muted. Sorry. I was saying, another thing that came out of the government realm was this bill, the couple of bills that are being put out there on the Senate side. Nothing's been voted on yet, but basically a bill to try and strengthen cybersecurity posture, but the left and the right, it's kind of interesting. And they're saying that if you have a business with more than 50 employees, so I guess that includes anybody, nonprofit, for-profit, whatever, a state, a local government would be required to notify the federal government in 24 hours if they make ransomware payments. And then they're saying that if you don't, the enforcement is a fine. I didn't see it in this article, but a fine of 0.5% of your gross reported revenue for that year. So, think about that point. So a half a percent on $1 million, for example, right? So I'm not sure. I mean, this bill comes after ransomware on Colonial Pipeline, beef and pork producer that hacked, so on and so forth. So a little bit behind, right? As Congress always is, but very interesting to see if something like this makes it through, where basically the government just doesn't want people to do ransomware payments. But if they do, they have to report it within 72 hours. So I'm curious, does that make you feel more confident or less confident? Because all this is a reporting structure, right? That doesn't mean that they're going back to hit these people back, right? They just want to know within that time. So I don't know. What do you think there, Darren? Darren's busy trying to not get pulled over on the highway, it sounds like. But yeah, I'm very interested to see where this goes. I mean, we've all talked about legislation, obviously from the view of, people in the IT services business, but I mean, they're basically going a little bit wider now, which means that your customers, should you be servicing people, we're obviously going to have to follow, and there's other laws, right? There's data breach laws, data notification laws at the state level, et cetera, usually across the board, but nothing on a national scale, right? So very interesting to see if something like this actually progresses. Again, I know it's a little bit up in the air, right? But yeah, the government's a little bit up in the air. Surprise, surprise. And welcome, Mr. Ken Patterson.
I thought you were going to say, speaking of government.
I don't put you and the government in the same sentence.
No.
Yeah.
Just when something to say.
Only if the government's T-Mobile.
Oh, you're so funny.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
Yep. So now I'm waiting for fraud department to call me, because they couldn't figure out any other way to fix it other than to call it fraud on their own company, and then have them call me to discuss the fraudulent charges.
Wonderful. T-Mobile there, right? Just really hitting it out of the park for you there, buddy.
Yeah. It's funny. I literally said to them, like, what's sad about you guys? Your service, your connectivity was better than every other provider we had on this trip. It was always on. Never had a problem with it, but we have a simple thing like this, and this is where your problem's going to lie, is that your own people can't take care of it. Nobody in T-Mobile can take care of a problem that you created.
Yeah, not fun. But this is, I always use the hey, it's like the customer service counter at Walmart, right? Whenever, it's either completely empty and there's nobody even there, or somebody's there, there's a line wrapping around the building and bad things are happening, right? So yeah, I kind of feel like that's one of those moments, man.
Yeah, fun stuff, just wasting time, that's all.
Yeah, so let me catch you up on a couple of things we talked about already. So we said that the somebody within the Pentagon who is in the cybersecurity realm, I'd love to get Matt Lee's opinion on this. I'm sure he'd have a riot, but basically said, I'm resigning. We're done. There's no way we're catching up to China. They've already won, in my opinion. I'm out.
Okay.
So that's somebody who's responsible or inside of the infrastructure for the government, right? Handling cybersecurity. Not good. Not good.
Giving the vote of confidence.
No, not at all. And then I mentioned that Congress, again, I use that word lightly because, you never know what's coming out of that realm. But Congress has a bill, from the Senate side that's been put out where they said that they want to actually force businesses of 50 employees or above, or, again, businesses could be nonprofit, for-profit,
Right.
50 people or above, or state or federal, or state or local government. If they, you have to report it within 72 hours if you have made a ransomware payment. And if you don't, their suggested teeth is 0.5% of reported revenue for that year as the fine.
Very interesting.
So,
well, there's the people that don't report it at all.
Yeah.
So you think they're going to report this on top of the fact that they're not really trying to report things in the first place?
But when I put these two things together, it doesn't sound like the government is in a position where they're, even able to fight back. It sounds like they're just turning the gun the other way and saying, hey, you're the victim. You're the one that got robbed, right? Oh, by the way, you need to report or else we're going to hit you. It almost doesn't make sense.
Right. Well, what does these days?
Yeah.
I mean, does Southwest telling you that there's weather problems in a place that's perfectly clear and sunny is the reason why they're canceling flights make sense?
Yeah,
No.
well, we know what that's all about.
Southwest, listen, I dealt with that.
Oh,
I was flying back. I was flying back from Scottsdale. Well, I wake up, my flight has been canceled. I'm not rebooked on any other flight. And because it's, Columbus Day weekend, there are no other flights available. And it's like, and from any other airline, it was actually one of the craziest things I've seen. And after, I think it took 2 hours to get through to somebody, thankfully I woke up early and they got me on a flight that was showing as not available. But I mean, Southwest can go to freaking.
It's not all them, man. I mean, they're the ones that have taken point clearly, but it's not all them.
Oh, I mean, I heard it was the pilots are striking because of the vaccination thing, right?
But it's not just Southwest pilots. It's a lot of other pilots.
Yeah, but Southwest seems to be the only one that's affected right now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a whole lot of cancellations in the other areas anyways.
Yeah, I hear you.
Southwest has always had big operational problems lately. They've I don't know. They're doing something wrong. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, but back to the whole, hey, one guy saying we're cooked. I don't even know why we're talking about it anymore. And then you have another guy saying, let's put a bill out there to find people if they pay for ransomware. Yeah. Again, it just seems like we're going in the wrong direction there. The last thing we talked about so far, Ken, just getting me up to snuff, is we had Mr. Dave Sobel on the megaphone saying Windows 11's out. Why is nobody actually moving to it? And Darren's like, why are we even talking about this? Not interested. I'm like, we're talking about it because Dave has a megaphone, but no, we're also talking about it because, you're within that 1 year where you can do the free upgrade. And then obviously for everybody that's like, don't care, I'll wait, obviously 4 years from now, Windows 10, is end of support, right? So that's when, things turn back up the other way.
I've heard some pretty decent things about Windows 11 too, though. It's you know what I mean? It seems like it's a mix. You got the technical guys that seem to love it. And then you have maybe people in the middle that are just worried about the updating and worried about apparently some of the RMM tools will not work with it. I haven't really dug too deep into it because I'm a little bit removed from having to worry about Windows 11 on my machine like I used to be. But I mean, is that it, George? Is that the RMM tools are not written?
I mean, listen, I'm not even talking about it from an MSP level, right? I'm more talking about it from, hey, maybe I might play with it on my personal computer. When it comes to work stuff, right? Like, I don't know if I'm ready to be the guy on the front line of that, that guinea pig trial, trying to make sure
absolutely
everything's working, and all the headache that goes along with going backwards if it does it. So
yeah, no, I've never been a fan of being on the bleeding edge.
Yeah, I mean, again, at home. But another thing I'll throw out there, because apparently our vice president said back in August, hey, you better start buying some Christmas presents now. And we had Keith on last MSP Initiative that said why the docs are backed up. But here are all the deadlines for looks like Christmas shipments. Doesn't mean that you have the stuff you want to ship, but pay attention, right? But hey, just like the people out there that on the threads have been saying, hey, Dell's saying they're out of computers and they won't have Dell computers until 2022. You might want to start shopping for your Christmas stuff now. And you also might want to be talking to your customers about end of year ordering now, right? Even from a transactional standpoint, right? Because you may not get it before the end of the year, kind of thing. So
I'll have a blue
I know Ken's still waiting for his Microsoft Surface. That still hasn't shown up.
Nope, has not shown up.
So,
but I'm functioning okay. So when it gets here, I do have a backup XPS now, so that's good.
That's good. So the other thing which has come out formally, and Ken, not forcing you to talk about it, but it looks like maybe kind of, sort of, Microsoft might be delaying a couple things. We don't know why, trying to make the experience better maybe, but part of the original rollout of the new Microsoft NCE, right? New commerce experience. Walter, by the way, Walter says my Cisco delivery date's March 22nd. Oof, I'm defined now.
You don't need a firewall till then anyway, don't worry.
Yeah. So they were supposed to have started it already for a couple of parts, right? Dynamics
October, Azure was supposed to happen for October. It got pushed to January. I mean, we can speculate and then hope that that means that some things will change with the other things that we're doing March as well. So that's all speculation. No inside information yet, but you know, from PAX8 perspective, we have the blog out there that's going to be updated every time we get an update from Microsoft. You can go to the PAX8 page to find that, but yeah, it's still very fluid. I would say there's a lot going on. I'm assuming that Microsoft knows about the petition now, and there's a lot, you know, to be said about that. So we'll see what happens. My only advice is don't panic just yet. Keep signing the petition. Keep doing what you need to do to get it, you know, get your voices heard. But I don't think anything's etched in stone just yet.
Maybe signs if we're going in the right direction. I didn't catch this one until I was looking today. Microsoft announced that older versions of Outlook, which why would you be on an older version of Outlook at this point? But let's say you are. So they're basically cutting off older versions of Outlook so that you can't, or any mail clients that you can't connect. And it looks like they're also going back to this disabling basic authentication campaign that they started before COVID. Looks like they're going back on that run, right? So yeah, heads up, guys, especially for all those copier machines out there that are still working on this stuff. Yeah, it's coming to an end. You might need something else. The dreaded copier machine that never works with the new stuff, right? It's just
right.
Yes, exactly. And while I was on, you know, Microsoft land, I got some Google, you know, in my feed, right? And yeah, so I got an article in front of me that says Google has a cunning plan to dethrone Microsoft 365. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. We'll see about that.
That should be interesting. Google just had a couple of 0 days that they had to deal with in the last week.
Apple just had a 0 day that came out yesterday that I had to, or Monday. Yeah, yesterday that I had to update my phone for.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're all getting them. So I don't know. And I can't imagine, you know, I think Google's a little more user friendly, which also makes them a little less secure, in my opinion. I don't know how they're going to catch Microsoft from a security standpoint.
Yeah, well, security is as Darren would say, is a very wide word. Actually,
Yeah.
popping back in because it keeps on popping in and out. But I popped them back
Yeah,
in.
sorry.
Yeah. By the way, how many? You have Chick-fil-A for lunch today, buddy?
No, you know what I had actually.
It's not lunchtime yet for him. He's in West Coast.
I got a chicken and waffle from a good grocery store around here. It's a microwavable chicken and waffle because I was in the RV and it actually was very good. So it was very impressive. Not Chick-fil-A, but I think maybe I will get Chick-fil-A for lunch now that you've mentioned it. But yes.
So not as good as, probably a little bit better than your waffles from IHOP at 1 o'clock in the morning.
That was probably the worst IHOP I've ever had. I'm glad that you got to enjoy that with me. But
thanks for sharing. Appreciate that.
Only the best.
Yeah. So
I mean, the security thing, you know, the Google. I mean, we've had people ask us over the years about, you know, should we be using Google for this? And it's always been an easy. I mean, it's like kind of the obvious thing. Well, do you really want Google managing your business stuff? And
right.
As much as we say we hate Microsoft, I don't know if I think hating Google is easier. in the sense of at least the perception of, I mean, you know, yeah, they say they're not looking at any of your stuff like they do in Gmail where they look at everything, but I mean, are they really not? Because I would say, how do you know? So I don't know.
Another thing out of Microsoft land, again, just popped through my feed as I'm going through all my feeds here. Look at this. This is an announcement today. Microsoft warns over password attacks against Office 365 customers. And of course, guess what? The article, you know, it references a couple of security things. And of course, what did they say? Significantly reduce if you put up multi-factor authentication. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
you know, it's kind of crazy that Microsoft doesn't just mandate it. I don't know, Ken, what your thought on that would be.
I think they
try. It's the same. Yeah, it's the same reason as everything. I mean, listen, you know how they, as much as people say Microsoft doesn't listen or doesn't pay attention, it's not true. But they're also listening to the people that probably have no right to complain, right? But they're still complaining. And if they turned it all to MFA, they would get so many complaints from, I'm not gonna say the area, George, you can use your imagination, Darren. I think, you know, there are certain people that would go nuts over MFA, including some people who, you know, put themselves in the MSP realm would probably be upset about that MFA thing for whatever reason. I'm sure there's a number of different things they can complain about. So I think Microsoft is trying to nudge people by putting out these articles and saying, hey, MFA would stop this. Hey, MFA would stop this. But that would be a bigger decision.
Here's what would be easy. And I'm surprised they haven't done it. And they have the opportunity with the price increase. It might sound crazy. If you don't have, raise it by $1 if you don't have MFA enabled. If you do, take it back to what they actually want to charge for it. So basically make people pay a premium if you're not going to turn MFA on. And guess what? I bet you'd have almost full adoption at that point. That's the way you do it.
Wow.
Or you'd have a complete bunch of people complaining again. Anyway.
And those people would just be paying more.
Yeah. Right.
So how about them apples, right? Okay, fair, fine, cool. But yeah, no, I mean, listen, I think it's important to understand that, you know, if like we said earlier, if the government doesn't have a plan, you know, from a state actor standpoint, and you know, we saw that with Kaseya, right? They actually slowed things down, right? We talked to Matt Lee about it, you know, trying to see if they could catch these guys. Of course, that didn't help people that were actually being affected in the moment, because I guess it kind of does decryption keys faster. But if the government doesn't have a way to actually fight back, you're on your own. You're on your own. Like, yeah, there's gonna be rules, there's gonna be insurance, but you're on your own. So to that effect. So we talked a while back about like insurance carriers like Travelers putting out, you know, basically mandates saying if you don't have MFA enabled and all your stuff, we're not going to cover you anymore. But like, I actually read one of these documents just the other day, you know, and what if the device or the, like, you know, they had a checkbox. It's like all network appliances, all remote access, all this, all that. I'm like, what about the 4-port switch from Staples, you know, that, you know, somebody just put in the wall and it's up in the ceiling, and maybe there isn't a login, maybe there is, but like, there's no MFA available for that. So what do you do in that situation? You can't check that box, can you? No, it's a fair question, right? Like, not everything is MFA-able, right? So
yeah, no, I get it.
So I just want to understand, how do you check that box? And then if there's an event that's an issue and they send out, you know, remediation or whatever it is, you know, the incident response, right? The firm that they hired out to come out to your place, and they pop your drop ceiling and they're like, oh, what's this? Does that have MF? No, we're not paying your claim. Like, could you imagine?
George, as you're saying this, you're making me realize the Chick-fil-A app does not have MFA, and it's making me very nervous right now.
It's a problem. But what it does have, I think it does have the, you can use your face authentication, right, for the iPhone to sign in, but Once you're in, right? Like
on
imagine.
Android you cannot. So it's big risk right here. I got to work on this.
I mean, could you imagine if your 100,000 Chick-fil-A points got stolen?
Pushing 90. We'll be 100 mid-November, I think. We'll see.
Okay. Well, it could be 0.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Darren might have like a panic attack if that happened.
Well, I think it's funny that George is saying this to you, Darren, and while you're being distracted, he's literally draining your account.
I feel like if Matt Lee listens to this, I'm done. It's over. Like that's it. I'm going to him first.
Wow. Speaking of more Microsoft stuff, finally, your Microsoft subscription-less Office for $150. Ken, you're running to the store to go buy it, right?
I downloaded it already.
Oh, okay.
Half price.
Half price. Nice.
I think I'm good with my what I have.
So it says if you're on the business side of things, $250 for home and business, includes everything plus Outlook. So everything above, right? Which is Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote. Microsoft Teams at some level says it's also part of the package.
Yeah, at some level. I wonder what that means. What works, what doesn't work.
Yeah. Interesting. You think all those people on Word, XP, and Office 2013 might finally upgrade?
Listen, it's working for them.
Yeah, until everybody that says they can't open their document because it's so old, it doesn't open, right?
Yep. That's I don't know. People crack me up. Just get the latest and greatest with the updates and be done with it.
Yeah, I know. It's people, man. It's people. So I was mentioning earlier before you jumped on. So I guess there was finally a postmortem on the Facebook, deleting itself off the internet.
Oh yeah.
From a week and a half ago. So basically they have control of their IPs, and they claim that somebody put there was a change made that blew up their BGP route statement, and that's what blew up all of their stuff off the internet, right? So, and they said they lost $60 million for every hour that all of their sites were down.
Nice.
Now, I don't know if that was an internal mistake or not, but we were laughing about the other day, even their door access systems were affected. They couldn't even get into their offices and data centers because they were all down, because it's all tied to the same
drop in the bucket. It's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah. The money doesn't matter. And obviously, I mean, it should be obvious. Somebody did this. Somebody there decided to make a statement, and good for them. I like it. So.
Oh, I mean, listen.
It was not an accident.
You see Walter's comment. Sounds good that everything is on the same network.
Well, same data centers, right? I mean, maybe it's a separate network or whatever, right? But I mean, if the data center is completely off the internet, then yeah, great. Well, it just goes to show you, there's been a bunch of these bumps over the last 4 or 5 weeks, right? Not just phones, not just Facebook, but it's just the waves of stuff, right? So
everything.
Yeah. When do things settle down? At all? Ever? No?
Nope.
Anyway, I'm just, the news depresses me a little bit, just a little bit.
Yep. And you saw, I didn't get into all the details of it, but I saw this quick blip and I sent it to Matt Lee about this baby dying over a ransomware attack.
Oh yeah, the hospital. Yeah.
I mean, this is something that Matt Lee's been talking about for a while. It's inevitable that we're gonna have a loss of life over what's going on.
It wasn't the first time, right? There was somebody else,
Yeah, the other one was because they turned him away, so they couldn't directly say it was because of ransomware because he wasn't in the care of the hospital. The hospital just said, "We're down. You got to go somewhere else," and he died on the way to the other hospital. So that was different. This one, supposedly the baby was in the care and then the hospital got attacked. I didn't really dig into it because I sent it to Matt Lee and we'll let him dissect it and tell us what really happened.
Yeah. Did you, on another front, right? So better watch out because they're talking about trying to, put out stuff from the executive branch here to regulate electronic currency. So all those Dogecoin, Bitcoin, and the other million coins out there. What do you think now? What if they come back and they make it just moot?
Yeah. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. I mean, how about the flip of that? We're talking about cash where, now they want to start regulating anything over $600. They want to be able to look in your bank account.
Yeah, that hasn't gone through yet, but surely not interested in that. And Ken, it took about what are we? We've been off the tour for 3-ish weeks, something like that. Finally, on the other coasts,
here it comes.
$5.
Yeah, but we already saw $5. We saw $5. Oh,
but
that's
but that's California. We knew that was coming.
Yeah.
So Walter's like, sounds good. Everything on the same network. My bed will be overstuffed. Yeah, on the coins. Yeah, I got you, buddy. I do. Yeah, I think people are gonna start, better pull out before we got problems. We all saw Elon Musk announce that he moved Tesla headquarters to Texas. So,
yeah, not happy. He wasn't happy about the abuse he was taking. Said he's out.
Yeah, moved to Texas officially. Austin. Yeah, there you go.
You realize that by moving to Texas, he's easily, and I'm just taking a guess, but he's easily increased his money, his take home, whatever, by 30%. Easily. I told you that when I went through that whole financial thing with the billionaire that was leaving California, he literally said, I'm all for you taxing the rich. I can handle the extra tax. He goes, but what they're doing to us in California is almost 75% of our paycheck. That's just insane.
I mean, now you know why there's a net reduction of what, 150,000 or so legal residents of California every year.
Yeah, it's getting crazy.
Yeah. And then you also, I don't know if you guys also heard, and probably doesn't necessarily affect most of the people in our realm, but hold on one second, guys.
Oh, he's got the boss. The boss is stepping in. He likes to lead these things up. 100% reduction, and then he leaves us hanging. Here he comes.
Yeah. So I was gonna say on a worldwide scale, right? So you heard that the current administration is trying to push a 15% flat corporate tax worldwide, like 130 countries or something like that. So, I mean, obviously they have to get every country to agree, and then they also have to get Congress to pass it here, right? Because it's mostly about U.S. companies, U.S. companies that are, kind of shopping for different tax rates as they go through. Right? So,
it's insane. I don't know if we need more taxes. We definitely need more taxes. And I love it when we're driving through. My favorite is when we're driving through states that have the most taxes taken out and their roads are still torn to crap. It's like, wait a minute, aren't these taxes and tolls and all these things supposed to be going to roads and education and all these other things? Yet I don't see it. Education, you don't see anything new happening with the educational systems, and you definitely don't see the roads getting repaired. So where are all these taxes going to?
That's a great question. I don't think we know. I would love to understand where.
I think we do know when we see politicians seem to get richer and richer on such a base salary. It's crazy. Wow. Politician making $150,000 a year has a net worth of $30 million. How does that work?
I'll just ask Nancy. She'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you loud and clear on that one. So, There you go. So this is actually some positive news. Again, Microsoft always in the feeds as I'm bouncing around the internet. Microsoft says it mitigated the largest DDoS attack ever recorded, 2.4 terabits per second. So I guess I guess all the VoIP providers out there can take a lesson, huh?
Right.
Previous was the largest attack was directed at Amazon Web Services last year. Lasted more than 10 minutes, 2.4 terabits per second.
Yeah, the Amazon one was just under that, right? 2.3.
Yeah, that's nuts. 70,000 sources from multiple countries in Asia Pacific, as well as the United States. Well, then, this isn't going away, huh? This just keeps on coming back for the next guy. Okay. Nice to know it can be mitigated. I mean, how do you like, unless you're Microsoft size, how do you even prevent that? Even the third-party services like Cloudflare, they have a limit.
Oh, Cloudflare gets hit, yeah.
They have a limit. So
Quite a bit.
Not exactly sure. I mean, I think this is not going to stop, right? I wonder how many passwords were just the default password on all these IoT devices, right? Cameras and routers and your front doorbell and all the other stuff out there, right? Like all they need is to just take your device and send a request, right? And they just do 70,000 of those.
Yeah, I gotta forward something to you, George.
Uh-oh. Did you get the same thing I just got?
From Roddy?
No, I got
Oh,
something.
okay. I got something from Roddy that you definitely want to see. Let's see.
Okay.
He took a picture of us during this publication and read what it says down below.
Uh-oh. I got my phone ready. I got my phone ready. While you're doing that,
it's sent.
okay, I'm gonna pull it up in a second. But while you're doing that,
don't pull it up on here just yet. Read it first.
I won't. So Darren, you fit right into this bubble. It's one of your rides close to this, right? So one you picked up in Ohio. Oof.
Where's Darren?
What are we looking at here?
What are you talking about? That's your car. That's the same color as your car, too, right?
Yeah, these electric Mustang.
I don't see any.
You don't see the screen? You don't see the blue electric? I see it. How do you not see it?
These electric hybrid Mustang SUVs.
I see a merge article.
Yeah, no, I'm on. Maybe there's a delay. Now we're talking about these Mustang.
Okay, there it is.
These little Mustang SUVs, man. I don't know. You got one. Is it worth it? Is it worth all the rage?
It's great. Yes, it's great.
It's great.
He doesn't sound very convincing.
No, it really is. They did a great job. They did a totally great job. It's for their real first effort on a pure EV. It's pretty damn good. It's not perfect, but pretty damn good.
It's got a Tesla size screen there, huh?
It does.
Yeah, that's pretty. I'm sure all the computer geeks love that. And the hood, and since there's no engine, the hood is a trunk.
How convenient.
Yeah. Okay.
It can hold all his hotel. It can hold all his hotel products that he's stealing from the hotels.
I don't know. Yeah, I always thought of Mustang being a sports car, man. And I never thought they would try and morph it into a little SUV. I don't know. That's just me.
All right, Darren. I'll take care of it while you're in San Diego. I'll drive around the East Coast for you.
Yeah, you just drive it. You'll be a believer.
Yeah, you got to get to New York to drive it there. I don't know if we want to do that.
Well, no, I'll gladly steal it from there and bring it to here. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Sure. I'm sure it has tracking on it like everything else.
Full tracking.
They'll know exactly where you are.
That is for sure.
Yeah, 100%. All right. So by the way, for everyone that heard me say it earlier, if you have an iOS device, Yeah, they dropped it yesterday, right? So, everybody's having 0 days, like Ken said. So if you haven't patched your phone from yesterday until today, this is the article that references that, right? 0 day vulnerability. So, yeah, go update your phones. They won't update automatically fast enough. So phones, devices, iPods, whatever, give it a run, because people keep on finding more and more problems out there. Okay, so Ken, we were talking about events taking us to the end of the year, right? I know, probably nobody from the Team Logic group's probably watching this because they're doing their thing now, but you got Team Logic down in Orlando, the little owner summit. And then next week is Kaseya, right? So anybody that's headed to Vegas to the MGM for Kaseya?
You.
Oh, well, wasn't the case until like 2 minutes ago, but yes.
I know you're on a panel now, so you're gonna go and be on the panel. Great news, get you up on a panel. Bad news is no one's gonna be there watching.
100%. I probably don't.
Are they gonna stream it out? Can we see it? Are they gonna do a stream, or come on?
I don't know, man. I don't know, but yeah, 6 days from now, this Kaseya conference at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas kicks off. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any backlash from the incident earlier in the year that had Darren and company rushing out to buy things like Threat Locker. So not because Darren was using anything Kaseya, we know he wouldn't do that. He's been very vocal about that. But yeah, I'm almost gonna want to watch that unfold, right? Because the last one like that was Panel of the Titans, right? 2017, 2018. You remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Actually, our friend Alec just sent out. He found the link. He found the floating link out there from that event that recorded that panel. So if you're interested in watching the original Fred, Arnie, was Austin McCord, Gary Pica, and Chris Day panel, which was mostly Arnie and Fred going at it, and I think Michael George was actually there too from Continuum at the time.
Yeah, Michael George too. That's the one. Yep.
Yeah, keep on forgetting that, and my first name's his last name. So
that's one way to remember it, I guess.
Yeah. So if anybody wants that link, I have it. But yeah, curious to see how that goes next week, and if there's a lot of pitchforks and Frankenstein type behavior, or if things will be smooth. It
won't matter because everybody will be out gambling on the strip and doing all the cool stuff on the strip. So
yeah. Do they even make it to the conference, right? So yeah, 100%.
That's the danger of doing the events in Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas is always tough. I've never seen it go well unless you're like off the strip, right? Where you're kind of like what your friends over at CRN like to do, Ken, right?
Yeah,
where they kind of
Red Rock. Yeah, even then though, even Red Rock was close enough for people to just be like, I'm out, or they would just be in the casino within Red Rock, right? They didn't have to go to the strip. They tried to do, I got to give them credit. They tried to do something. They tried to, I think it was based on some feedback that I may have given, but they tried to say, hey, everybody, we're going to meet at this central bar. And it didn't work out. Everybody just went. Some people said, I'm going to go to the strip. I'm close enough here. We're going to take off. And other people went to the casino down that was in Red Rock. And you just don't get the same numbers. You're not getting, when you're talking about community and you're getting people together, and we talk about why we did the whole bus tour, right? We were taking that to everybody. You're not getting that in Vegas because there's just so many cool things to do that people don't want to miss out. They're like, oh, I'm in Vegas. I'm going to take advantage of this stuff. I'm not going to go, hang out with my peers in a bar doing nothing. So you lose out on it. So yeah, even the one that was at Red Rock still had people pulling away and not really having that sense of community afterwards, where everybody was getting together and collaboration.
One more one, and then we'll come back to this topic. But I saw this for those Linux fans out there. So Microsoft made Windows an app for Linux. How about that, right? So instead, like, forget dual booting your computer, right? I just run Linux and then load Microsoft as an app. Could be interesting.
Sure.
Anyway, back to events. So we have Cassette. So Cassette next. There's Dado
Yep.
tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow
They're
it's virtual all
Yeah.
day. Apparently Dado's gonna do boot camps following the event for people to pay for. I saw that $199 per boot camp or per couple of subjects or something like that. But they're doing something to extend off of that one day from the DatoCon thing for the community. And then, then we have Next Gen out in California at the end of this month and IT Nation next month. Channel partners.
So channel partners in Vegas again,
Yep,
right? Darren,
Vegas
you
event.
tend to find yourself in California. Are you interested in going inside of the Los Angeles area situation?
Potentially, but I just walked into a doctor here, George, so sorry.
All right. Good luck. Good luck on the doctor's appointment, man. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, it's Anaheim, so it's not LA. It's not, that far north. It's a little more south. Anaheim's a little bit, a little bit more southern, right? So maybe it may be a little bit different, right? Compared to what we know is going on in LA. And we saw San Diego, where Darren is definitely a lot more loose and open.
Southern California for sure is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But
it is in Anaheim, so we will see.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's the channel partners again, Vegas. You said that, and then IT Nation. I hear there's some party going on.
Yeah. We may have made that announcement at the beginning of this session, but yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited for that, of course, because Florida is obviously a lot easier to get to, unless you take Darren's word for it, and Southwest will just cancel your flight.
Yeah.
If you were talking about ASCII in Anaheim? Is that what you were saying? Or?
No,
we were talking about Next Gen.
Oh,
but you can't make that. I already asked you.
I can't make that one. No. But
he's got a user. What do you got? Your peer group?
I have my it's my MSP Ignite peer group meeting is at the same time. So
gotcha. So you're not just blowing me off while I'm out there. I got you.
So happy injection.
Was that the nurse? Did she just take him? She just take Darren from us?
I think so. Yeah. So I saw the thing Roddy put.
That's a little odd.
No, I mean, obviously that's hysterical, right? But somebody pressed that for sure. So that's very fun, guys. Appreciate that. I'll get to the bottom of that. We'll figure out where that came from, but yeah, fun. So then we have IT Nation pretty much closing out the year, right? Because after that, I don't think there's anything hard in the schedule, right? So that anchors the year, and that about a month away. And then we're in November, December time, which is that hurry up and get all those projects done for the end of the year, right? So you can close out your books and sneak them in. But hey,
Right.
Question is, where's the equipment coming from, man? Where's the hardware coming from?
Best Buy.
I guess. I hate to even think about that, but
do you have any problems getting stuff from Best Buy? I mean, there's also Micro Center here on the East Coast. Is Micro Center everywhere? I think
no,
because there's a Micro Center in Denver. I know that. So at least from here to Denver, but
yeah,
they always seem to have it. I don't know why or how, but those places seem to have it. And
they put their orders in a long time ago, right? I mean, that's what it is.
Right. Sure. Yep. They filled up their warehouses with good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I guess that'll slow down how fast, processors and all the other, the whole Moore's Law thing, right? Where it's like, hey, just keep on going up and up and up, but you can't get them. So what's the point?
Yep. 100%.
So yeah, should be interesting to see how their year shapes up and if all those boats make it into the dock and gets all their cargo shifted there. So, so other than bad airline and bad hotel and bad T-Mobile experiences, Ken, could you forecast what your next customer service snafu is going to be?
if I could do that, I'd probably be making millions. That would be a nice thing to be able to foresee it. Although I guess I would foresee it and still not be able to stop it. That would be a problem. But yeah, no, I'm hoping not on any of these flights or any of these hotels that I'm, going to be bouncing around to over the next few months. We'll not have those issues. We've definitely seen our fair share of odd service issues with hotels and flights, and you pretty much name it, and obviously you're the king of going through security and finding new ways to engage the security.
Yeah, well, my understanding of security, and I think everybody else's topic of security don't quite line up. I'm talking about people security. You're talking about digital security or cyber security. I guess it could all be the same.
George, when they see George coming, it's time to pull out the gloves.
Yeah, I used the Reading logic. I dropped that on somebody the other day. I'm like, well, I was told by a guy who travels a lot that he thinks the reason I get stopped is, I went through his whole, vaguely whatever, and
vaguely whatever. Okay.
And they just absolutely cracked up. They absolutely cracked up. I was like, okay, that might be the winner.
Yeah, they're like, now bend over.
Yeah, not a fan, especially when according to
most people aren't.
Yeah, according to Alec, he's like, oh, you recently get stopped as you roll around with the Best Buy in your backpack. I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure that's it.
Nope.
Yeah. Even got stopped on my way to the Statue of Liberty because you got to go through TSA security to get on the ferry for that IT by Design conference. And I even got stopped on that. At least they're consistent, Ken.
They are. Listen, I mean, the next story that beats the post office pullover is going to be the one that, if anything can top that, that'll be the one to hear, right? If you can top being pulled over standing in line at a post office, I want to hear that story.
I mean, just the outrageousness of that sentence is hard to beat. It is.
It's 100% true. I mean, almost like finding drop ceilings in a hotel shower. But anyway.
No, that never happens. Hey, man, it wasn't me. That's it. That's all I got for you. It wasn't me.
Oh, man.
All right. So circle back with us again, Tuesdays, Thursdays, 1:00 Eastern time. We usually do these. All of these are available online at mspinitiative.com under sessions. Stay tuned for more about the end of the year shenanigans. And I mean, this year feels like it went, did it even go slower than last year? Is that even possible with people being locked up in their houses? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know about you. I wasn't too locked up, but
that's true.
We went out, we did our thing, we pulled people out. For me, if we didn't have that, then yes, I'd probably be sitting down here depressed with one of your beer mugs filled with something. But being able to get out and get in front of the community still, and did it the way we did it, safely, responsibly, but we all got together, was probably for me saving grace. And hopefully it was for a lot of the people that came out and got to come out and hang out and enjoy that for a little bit, no matter where they were. We did it all. We did California, we did Florida, we did Texas, we've done the Midwest, we've done it all. It still was the same message. Man, it's great to see you guys live. Man, it's great to have these conversations live. So
yeah, 100%.
That to me made it all worth it. If I was trapped, and I know there were people in different circumstances, we have vendors that we know that were trapped in a condo for the whole entire thing because they were in a place that was completely locked down. And, I feel for them because I definitely wouldn't have done it the same way. And it definitely helped to be able to still do the things that we did through the beginning of COVID.
Yeah, no, totally agree. I'm sure. But yeah, the year definitely felt a little bit different, which is probably in a good way. I hope everybody's seeing some light at the end of that tunnel. All right, guys. Well,
hopefully it's not a train.
This is true. Catch everybody on the next session and enjoy the rest of your day. See ya.